My word, has it been that long already to have a D.Gray chapter appear before my eyes? To be fair, it's been a while, and honestly, I kind of forgot about this series for a while because we haven't heard any news. Plus, add to the addition, like, we did have a break last time, as like the author did take a break for a little while as well, but nevertheless, and all that, I still want to keep doing them because they're enjoyable as hell to talk about. And fuck it, we're talking about D.Gray because it's awesome and it does love a little bit more love. I do say it deserves a little bit more of that, but especially as we find the arrival of Tiki right in front of Alan and like the 14th, because, well, like, this guy just, like, Tiki, I think everyone knows and all that, is just a motherfucking pimp, and he just comes up and doesn't give a shit whether it's the 14th, whether or not it's the Millennium Earl, like whether like Howard or any of the characters. They don't give a crap and all that. Tiki does whatever the fuck he pleases for the most part, and serious back to forth, and a very huge return of a prominent character we haven't seen in a very long time. So with what we got in this chapter, we got to see, like, you know, as the Millennium Earl was actually just completely disappearing, as like he even saw as well, like saying like with this is like, you know, we, you know, take the Millennium Earl and all that, like get him out of here and all that, like he's already gone through enough and all that, and like they are, especially now, like they're referring to him to Joy now as well, which is like a very like weird thing as well to like saying like, because it's really, like, you know, especially, like, we're so used to him as being, like, his actual, I believe that is his actual name and all that, like, Tiki was, like, kind of, like, his, like, not his reincarnation name, but that's what he's supposed to be. Same thing with, you know, like, the 14 being, like, you know, there, it's same thing as, like, and Mana D. Walker, like, all, like, with everything that's been going around as well, like, that, it's just been a hodgepodge mess and all that to get out with it. And even as well, like, for what we got, like, we were saying that, like, Tiki was even saying, like, to him, is like, you know, you're gonna tell me about this mana, like, you know, he mentioned it as well, and he's saying, you know, thanks to you as well, you dick shit, like, we couldn't get anything out of Bookman either, which was, like, one big thing that they were having for a while, and it was just, like, they couldn't do anything, so that was an important thing as well, where it's, like, they couldn't crack that information that they needed out of Bookman, because that was something that they were wanting for a while with this old man, because this man knows all the fucking knowledge, so it's like, he gets that shit, it's fucking game over and all that, especially when they had it as well, like, you know, and even though he was just one saying, you know, even if you didn't hear from me, Jordan, all that, you realize it eventually as well and all that, it's like, this guy and all that is, you know, like, being swallowed in and pulled in and all that, so the fate of, like, you and Naya throughout this, and just, it's so disappointing, because, like, fucking, you see the 14th, like, just, like, grab his arm, like, just, like, intimidating, and just, like, being this sarcastic piece of shit towards, like, the Millennium Earl, just, like, grabbing towards him, and he's, like, he's there crying, he wants his fucking, like, his brother back, he's like, no, man, come back to you, and Tiki, after everything, just has a smoke, just, well, we've got ourselves a situation, and he, like, doesn't give a fuck, just changes reality and just starts climbing up the air itself and using them as just stairs. Like, this is what I use my special powers for, and it's like, you're the 14th, that's so much. It's really confusing. It doesn't help when you're, like, Alan as well, like, you know, and you did make, like, hardly any time as well, just to make the Earl cry, and it's like, you know, this is shit and all that, you know, with Wisely as well, he was slacking off, looking after him, and he's like, hey, how about we come back, traitor, and all that, we'll sit down and eat together as a family, and hear exactly what kind of thing you are. So how about it, traitor? Want to come back? Like, and just this great, like, dialogue that was going through, like, all of this, like, this intimidation. Fucking 14th did not give a shit, because he cannot stand that name at all. Like, he knows, like, throughout all of it and all that, saying, yo, I am Naya D. Campbell, like that, and he's just like, 14th this, 14th that, you and everybody else calling me that name. The entire reason that was even, like, mentioned in the first place, like, the previous generations of Noah gave me that nickname in spite, and I don't approve of that. And he even decides and all that to fucking throw some shade under Tiki, saying, you know, like, as far as I'm all that, like, you idiots and all that, I'm Naya. And as far as I consider, like, as an ally or think you as family, that's something I decide. Plus, having a meal with you, Joyd, is especially out of question, you know. And exactly, he's talking like, in the reincarnated form, I could laugh and spell out the food I ate, like that, and he's like, and this is where Tiki starts remembering stuff, because this has been something he's been dealing with for a while as well, like kind of having the realization of like remembering who he originally was as well, and you even get to see part of joy coming out of his face. Like you see, it's like just this grin, like he knows. So something sinister is coming back in like Tiki, really dark. And like the fact is that he wanted to finish this off straight away. That he was even going to go to the point of using Alan's innocence for this. And it's like there's no guarantee that isn't going to destroy you and Noah like that. What happens if you become a fallen one? And he's like, I don't care, like that. He's like, thanks for the concern anyway, though. Like Link, like I appreciate it. And it's like. Link is like, he's dealing with his own shit. He's dealing with his own Noah family, which that guy is just fucking weird. I can't even remember that dude's name. Like, he gets, like, Bubba, or whatever they call his name. Like, he's, like, one of the weirder Noahs that kind of got introduced, like, later on in the series. And just the fact that he's like, oh, well, I'm kind of bored now after, like, being, like, electrocuted. And it's, like, not even with that, like, going through it. It's, like, you know, after all the shit that's got, like, Alan's gone through it and all that, it's just, like, you know, he got that shit, like, it was like a fucking, like, panic, like, after everything, and it's like, and his fucking buddy, like, as soon as he going in there saying, you know, like Johnny calls to him, and it's just like, you gotta do it, that's not Alan, though, like, you gotta realize that Alan's been gone for a while, that's Naya, that's not the person that you think it is, and, like, he noticed that, it's like, you know, he said, like, I noticed those eyes and all that, they're gold, that's not Alan, and like, Alan was reaching out from that, something that we thought impossible to actually go through, and he's saying, you know, like, I'll keep calling for you, I'll be your beacon, no matter what, I'll reach you, and finally, which weird to say, we did see Alan after a while, like, it was like a couple months ago that we did see him, like, technically, but in the real world, he's finally returned, so the searching, is this, like, technically, like, I guess as well with this chapter, is this the end of the, like, so-called, like, big, long searching for Alan Walker arc, because he's finally back. He's technically finally back in the real world now after, like, Johnny just goes over to, like, balcony, just grabs him and try to get, and we even see as well, like, with his, like, innocence, it saves him, like, both him and Johnny at the last second, because it, like, just spreads his, like, innocence into just, like, some wings, and he's just, like, smiling, saying, you know, like, you know, thank you, guy, and, like, you know, I really appreciate it, Johnny, and all that. After all that, he's like, you know, oh, like, he's crying, he's happy, but Link isn't too happy about this. He knows full well that I think Link realizes this isn't a permanent thing, that the 14th Naya is still inside of Alan, and Alan knows about this, and it's like, there's a lot to go through. So this chapter, albeit like I felt short at some points, not considering that I felt like the last chapter that we did have was kind of like very slow. A lot of it was just like Tiki's arrival, and like, you know, kind of as well going through some of the same stuff that we had. But finally, we've got Alan back. Not to mention as well, like, I love just Tiki just coming up there, having a smoke on the way, breaking reality. Just, like, the motherfucker could just jump up there and talk to him. But he's like, nah, I just want to break reality just so I can just have this nonchalant chat with you and just, like, have the smoke like that. I like that because Tiki's always been this classy motherfucker. Like, I've always like that with some characters, especially, like, his one as well. And, like, getting more into his character as well, like, Tiki might, like, it's still, like, one of my, like, favorite characters in there. Like, I personally think, like, Alan, like, the same thing, like, with Lavi and, like, a few of the other characters and all that, like, some of my favorites. But, like, if we're going out of Noah's and all that, I've always really enjoyed, like, Tiki as a character. And to find out more about him and, like, his reincarnation and, like, a bunch of stuff and all that that's been going down, it was really a fascinating read, and if anything I could say with this chapter of D.Gray, man. And it's just nice to have it back. Like, we haven't had it in a while. The last time we really was able to talk about it was a kind of slow chapter, and even before that, that was when the anime was going on, and the anime was kind of going through some of the stuff that we really loved, pretty rushed like that. I know, like, it came with a mixed bag. I know a lot of people really enjoyed that, especially, like, you know, a lot of people didn't want to read up to, like, 200 chapters of stuff, so that definitely helped for a lot of people. But overall, I'm very curious to see what you guys think in the comment section down below. What did you think about this D.Gray man chapter? I really want to see what you think in the comment section down below. That is all from me, though, so thank you as always for watching, and I'll see you guys, though, next time.